Hello and welcome to The Healthy Workplace, the podcast where we explore the intersection of mental health, leadership, and employee well-being. In this deeply moving and timely episode, Dr. Williams opens up about a topic that touches the lives of countless veterans and their families, the silent struggles that continue long after the battlefield. While we often celebrate the courage and sacrifice of our military members, what often goes unspoken is what happens after the guns go silent. What happens when our heroes return home? And with June recognized as PTSD Awareness Month, this conversation couldn't be more important or more needed. So whether you've served, love someone who has, or simply want to better understand the challenges veterans face, lean in. This one's for you. Now, let's join Dr. Williams for today's episode of The Healthy Workplace.
PTSD is often misunderstood, in part because its official recognition is relatively recent. It wasn't until 1980 that the American Psychiatric Association formally named post-traumatic stress disorder in the DSM-3. But the condition itself, its symptoms, its impact have existed for centuries. During the Civil War, it was referred to as the soldier's heart, thought to be a cardiovascular problem. In World War I, was known as shell shock, based on the belief that close proximity to explosion caused neurological damage. By World War II, it evolved into combat fatigue, suggesting that the stress of battle simply wore soldiers down. But these names were attempts to explain what couldn't be seen, the invisible injuries to the mind and spirit. It took the advocacy of Vietnam veterans to push for official recognition, demanding that the psychological wounds that they carried be acknowledged with the same seriousness as physical injuries. Since then, we've made strides in understanding PTSD, but stigma and misunderstanding still lingers, especially in the workplace. PTSD isn't just about what happens in war. It's about how trauma reshapes the brain and body. For many service members, the trauma begins long before combat. Some enter the military with a history of childhood abuse, loss, or adverse experiences. The stresses of military life, combat, repeated deployments, witnessing death, and military sexual trauma compound these experiences. What's often misunderstood is that PTSD symptoms may not appear immediately. Many veterans function well during their service because of the structure, routine, and shared mission. But once they leave that environment, symptoms like flashbacks, emotional numbness, hypervigilance, insomnia, and panic attacks can surface more intensely. That disconnection between service and symptom onset often confuses employers and even the veterans themselves. They may think, "It's been years since I deployed. Why is this happening now?" But trauma doesn't follow a calendar. It resurfaces when the mind and body feel safe enough to begin processing it. Returning to civilian life can be disoriented. For veterans, it's not just about getting a new job, it's about rebuilding identity. The military provides a strong sense of purpose and structure. Once that's gone, many veterans feel lost. The civilian workforce can feel foreign, unstructured, and overly casual, lacking in mission-driven clarity. Small things can be triggering: a slamming door, an unexpected deadline, a misunderstanding with a supervisor. These might seem minor to someone without trauma, but to a veteran with PTSD, they can spark intense anxiety or even flashbacks. Complicating matters, some veterans may not disclose their diagnosis out of fear of being stigmatized or misunderstood. They may worry that their employee will see them as unstable or unfit, when in reality, they just need understanding, not pity. Creating a trauma-enforced workplace begins with leadership. Leaders set the tone. When leaders prioritize mental health, normalize discussions around trauma, and build flexible systems, they send a powerful message: you are safe here. When trust is built, veterans feel empowered to speak up about what they need to succeed. Colleagues can play a vital role. Simple acts like checking in, avoiding judgment, and respecting personal space go a long way. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with you?" we need to shift to, "What happened to you and how can I help?" Organizations can offer support by offering employee assistance programs, partnering with veteran support groups, and investing in training that teaches teams how to recognize trauma responses, not as dysfunction, but as adaptive survival strategies. Workplaces thrive when they are inclusive, not just of race and gender, but of experiences, including the invisible scars of military service. Physical activity, structured routines, and even faith-based support systems can all contribute to healing. For some, it's about finding purpose again, whether through volunteering, mentoring, or meaningful work. But none of this happens in a vacuum. Veterans don't need just therapy. They need community. They need workplaces that believe in them, leaders who understand them, and teammates who don't treat them like they're fragile, but rather like they're strong and human. In 2010, the United States Senate officially designated June as the PTSD Awareness Month. The movement was born out of a necessity. Too many veterans were returning home with invisible wounds, and too few people understood what PTSD really was. June 27 is now recognized as PTSD Awareness Day, serving as a time to reflect, educate, and act. But awareness isn't enough. We need action. We need managers to ask how their veterans employees are doing. We need HR departments to review policies with trauma-informed lenses. We need coworkers to listen more and judge less. This month is a reminder that healing is possible, but only when we create environments where it can take root. As we close today, I want to speak directly to the veterans who may be listening. You have served your country with honor, and now you deserve a life of dignity, peace, and support. You are not alone. Your trauma does not define you. You are capable. You are needed. And your presence in the workplace enriches us all. And to the leaders, coworkers, and friends, remember this. Creating a healthy workplace isn't just about increasing productivity. It's about making the space for people to be whole. That includes the brave men and women who served and still carry the echoes of their service. This June, let's do more than raise awareness. Let's build understanding. Let's extend grace. And let's work towards a world where healing is not only possible, but expected. Thank you for listening to The Healthy Workplace. I'm Dr. Williams. Take care of yourself, take care of each other, and until next time, keep building a workplace worth showing up for.